going to talk about today is how to get clarification if you have a pending grant request in with a foundation. You could be waiting to hear back, you could have just submitted, but if there's a time where maybe you feel like funding priorities would change or might have changed, or you're seeing other foundations change, much like the time when COVID has been going on, then these are some things you're going to want to think about and potentially reach out to your contacts at your local foundations to get clarification on.
Yes, and keep in mind, you may not speak to the decision maker immediately. You might first be speaking to the gatekeeper, or that secretary or receptionist that serves as a gatekeeper. So always put on a friendly face, friendly tone, because that person often determines when and if you get to speak to the decision makers at the foundation.
So Marie and I are going to role play for you just a second. I'm going to call in and she's going to be the foundation, and I'm just going to ask a question based on thinking that I have already submitted a proposal. So I would call and I would say, good afternoon, my name is Mandy. I'm with Opening Doors here in Hickory, North Carolina, and we submitted a proposal last month for review in your upcoming grant cycle, and I just wanted to see if I could speak with someone about the possibility of an update on the status of our application.
Well, Mandy, thank you so much for calling. Mr. Smith is not currently available, but I am here and serving as his assistant. Would be happy to answer any of your questions. So just tell me, when exactly did you submit your proposal?
We submitted that last month, around the beginning of the month. We were told to have it in by the end of the month, so we did get a signature that it was received, and I just wanted to see what the status was and if those were still going to be reviewed, if your priorities have changed at all in light of current situations.
Absolutely. You should have received a confirmation email if you submitted through our online portal, and if you submitted via email, you might not have received that, but I'm showing that we have received your application, and in light of the current situation with COVID, we have pushed our board meeting out an extra month. So you probably saw on the application that we were scheduled to meet in May. That May meeting is going to be focused on other things, and it will be end of June, early July before our board meets. So I just want to let you know that that is a change. We do have your application. It is a very competitive cycle, so I can't really tell you if you can expect an award or not, but you should hear back June or early July at the latest.
Okay, great. That's good to know. And I'm going to be giving an update to our board. So should we be so lucky as to be selected for funding, could you give me any idea of when we could expect dollars in hand? I know the notification would come in the summer.
Absolutely. So our typical process is, once the board approves the grant and you receive that grant award, we typically ask the organization to accept that award, and there is a contract that we ask you to sign. So from the date that we give you the award, get you the contract, that could be 30 to 60 days depending on your response time. And within 30 days of receipt of your contract, we try to mail those checks out. So if you hear back from us in July, just assume August is the contract period. Maybe September would be a realistic money in hand date should you be awarded.
Okay, great. That's really helpful. So that is an example of what a typical conversation might sound like if the response was going to be positive and the foundation was going to continue moving forward with their process. Maybe a slight delay, that's very realistic. Let's hear what the flip side of that might be for the foundations who choose to change their priorities or put off grant cycles or hold applications until a further grant cycle comes up, because this is happening right now and a lot of you may be experiencing this. So I would have the same intro to that foundation. I would let them know who I am, the organization that I'm with, and that I'd like to speak with someone to get updates on the current status of our application.
Well, Mandy, thank you so much for calling. Mr. Smith is really busy right now. As you can imagine, we've just had a lot of changes going on here on the application. I really wish I could be more helpful, but just like with you, everything is kind of up in the air here. And yes, we are, we do have a limited amount of money to give, and we want to make sure that we're getting that in the hands of organizations that need it most. Specifically, it looks like we might be prioritizing hospitals, healthcare workers, and other essential type organizations. So if you're serving basic human needs, your proposal is likely to be considered. But unfortunately, if your proposal doesn't address, personal protective equipment or some of those more emergent needs, it's going to be pushed off until a later grant cycle.
Okay, great. Will we still get notification of if we are or are not going to receive funding, so we know whether we can apply to a later grant cycle, and would we be able to apply for another cycle in this fiscal year, or would we need to wait till next year to submit another proposal?
Those are all really great questions. And like I said, things are a little bit up in the air. What we're going to try to do is have a board meeting early June and look at those cycles. We are going to post the new guidelines and make those available. Unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower. We're a small foundation. We don't have the manpower to send out an email notification to every potential grantee. So we ask that you check back on our website, end of June, and we will let you know what the upcoming grant cycles look like. So if you applied and are not awarded, then your grant proposal will automatically be slotted for the end of the year consideration, and you would hear back about an award, but we will not be providing updates. In the meantime, we'll ask you to check back on our website.
Okay, will do. Thanks so much for your time. So those are the kind of conversations you're going to have. We have an entire playlist of conversations with program officers. So if you have other specific questions you'd like to ask foundations, please be sure to check back in as we role play a couple of more scenarios for you.